Hello, LadyKeziah here. If you weren't afraid, what life would you have lived? If you weren't afraid, what life would you have lived? Hello, let's have a conversation. I want to ask you a question that might echo in your heart long after watching this video. And that is, if you weren't afraid, what life would you have lived? Who were you really before the world started telling you who you should be? So many questions, right? Before fear entered your store, before society handed you its script, before expectations became louder than your inner voice, who were you? Somewhere deep within each of us is a version of ourselves that existed before fear crept in. A version that dreamed freely, laughed boldly, laughed boldly, laughed loudly, and believed endlessly. A version that wasn't shaped by comparison, rejection, or pressure, but by pure wonder and possibility. But over time, the world taught you something different. It taught you to trade curiosity for caution. It taught you to shrink your dreams to fit inside other people's comfort zones. It taught you to measure success by timelines, titles, trophies, and milestones. And perhaps the most dangerous lesson of all, it taught you to hide who you truly are in order to be accepted. But let me remind you, fear is a thief. It robs you of the life you could have lived. It convinces you to settle, to stay quiet, and step back. But the truth is, everything you and I desire, everything we are called to become, sits on the other side of fear. What if you wrote that book? What if you started that business? What if you left that toxic space? What if you spoke your truth? What if you believed in yourself fully, unapologetically, and loudly? What kind of life would you be living today if fear hadn't whispered, "You are not enough," every time you tried? And what kind of legacy would you leave behind if you finally stopped listening? The world doesn't need a more polished version of who it told you to be. It needs the real you, raw, honest, passionate, imperfect, but whole. Because your true power isn't found in perfection, it is found in authenticity. So in this video, I invite you to return not to what the world molded you into, but to who you were before it told you to conform. Reclaim that little girl who dreamed in colors. Reignite that fire you buried beneath fear and approval. Remind yourself you were always enough before the world had a say. And next time fear comes knocking, you tell it, I will no longer live a life that fear designed. I am building a life that freedom defines. Because when you stop being afraid of who you really are, that is when you finally start living. Life doesn't always give us perfect beginnings. Some people were born into comfort, others into chaos. Some have support systems, others would have to become their own support systems. But regardless of where we start, there comes a point in every person's life when they must confront a powerful question. And that is, do I believe I have the capacity to change my life? Ask yourself. When you begin asking your soul these difficult questions, you'll be amazed the answers it would give you. Everybody would get that awareness where you be confronted with a powerful question, and that is, do I believe I have the capacity to change my life? Yes, I do. And I know you do too. This is not just a motivational slogan, no. It is a deeply personal inquiry, an inquiry that determines whether you remain a passive observer of your circumstances or you become the active author of your story. Believing in your capacity to change your life is where transformation begins. It is not about having all the answers and immediate resources. You won't go to bed and wake up one day and everything is handed to you to begin with. No. It is not about having all the answers or immediate resources. It is about recognizing that within you lies the ability to choose, grow, and pivot so you can rise even when the odds are against you. Change doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes with discomfort. It comes with uncertainty. It comes with resistance. That is why many people don't change. You see, a lot of people are growing older, but not growing up, because to them, change is difficult. Not because they can't change, but because they don't believe they can. They've been shaped by past failures, by voices of doubt, by systems that convinced them their potential was fixed. But here is the truth, brothers and sisters. You are not your past. You are not your environment, and neither are you your mistakes. You are possibility. Change begins with one decision, one step, one moment of courage, and then another moment of courage, and then another moment of courage. Bit by bit, belief becomes behavior, and behavior shapes reality. Do you believe you can break any pattern that is not helping you? Do you believe you can learn new skills, build new habits, and walk away from what no longer serves you? Do you believe you can build the life you've quietly dreamed of? Because belief is power. Belief is motion. Belief is the seed of all transformation. Your circumstance may be hard. Yes. You might think your life is hard, is difficult. What other people gets it easy, you would have to struggle and struggle and struggle. So you come to the conclusion. You've arrived at a decision that your life is hard. Your path may be longer than others. But capacity, brothers and sisters, is not reserved for the lucky or privileged. It belongs to the committed, the courageous, The ones who decide that change is not a myth, it is a mission. So one more time, do you believe you have the capacity to change your life? Do you? Yes, my brother. Yes, my sister. Do you believe you have the capacity to change your life? If the answer is yes, then start now. If the answer is maybe, then dare to try. And if the answer is no, then pause and remember this. Your belief may be wounded, but it can be rebuilt. Your confidence may be quiet, but it can be awakened. Your life is not finished. And as long as you are breathing, you can begin again and again and again. Not rebuilding from ignorance and naivety, but with great experience and clarity. Because anytime you fall down and you manage to rise, you learn something. It is fear that has kept you into learned helplessness. Yes. Learned helplessness or self-acquired hopelessness can profoundly shape a person's life, often in a subtle but deeply damaging ways. It happens when someone internalizes the belief that nothing they do will make it, even when they have the ability to change their circumstance. And if you come to this conclusion that there is nothing you can do to make a difference within your life, then you've gotten into a self-acquired hopelessness. And let's see how this influences anybody's life once you get into that state. Number one, paralysis in decision making. When hopelessness sets in, people often stop trying. They delay choices, avoid risk, and settle for less because they assume any effort is pointless. This paralyzes growth and leads to mixed opportunities because one becomes the silent anthem of their daily life. So what you say be why should they try? Why bother becomes the silent anthem of their daily life. Number two, damaged self-worth. Self-acquired hopelessness often convinces a person they have the problem, not their circumstances. So over time, this erodes confidence and identity. They begin to believe they are incapable of success, undeserving of good things. Instead of them considering, analyzing what went wrong, of course, they might have had a role to play, but there might be other contributing factors too. Instead of them sitting down, analyzing these things so they will come out better, they believe that they are the problem because of damaged self-worth. They are incapable of success, undeserving of good things. Number three, reduced motivation and ambition. People with learned hopelessness stop setting goals. They abandon dreams or avoid trying new things because they don't want anything in their life, but because they are afraid of repeated failure. And just like I said in number two, because of their damaged self-worth, the motivation is reduced, ambition lost. So they are just living by the day with no goal setting. Dreams abandoned and avoiding trying new things entirely because they are afraid to fail. This slowly replaces purpose with mere survival. Number 4, tolerating toxic environments. When someone believes they have no power to change their lives, they may stay in abusive relationships, unfulfilling jobs, or destructive habits. They begin to normalize dysfunction because they can't see an exit. Oni beebi obekɔ bio, ababɔnde reyɛ ni. Nti sɛ you and you, deɛ kaa yɛ ano. Even when they want to get into other places and try other things, no. Bibi ani wo betumi ayɛ de aboa ne ho. So ɔmfa ne say here. Then they normalize dysfunction. Number 5, and this is why some of us always, because they get to a time, it's not about the healthy food, the exercise, the supplements, and all the things you take. If you don't deal with the things on your heart, the things on your mind and in your heart, you won't stay healthy. Number 5, mental and physical health decline. Hopelessness doesn't just affect thoughts, it affects the body. It can lead to depression, anxiety, chronic fatigue, and even weaken the immune system. Do further research into this. The mind and body start mirroring the belief that nothing will get better. So your body begins to believe nothing would also get better. Number 6, strained relationship. Your relationship gets who you bring in on board. So if this is what you're going through, it is definitely what your partner is going to get. When someone carries hopelessness, it can show up in how they connect with others, pushing people away, mistrusting kindness is too good to be true, she's too good to be true, waiting for the one shoe to fall off. They expect abandonment, unintentionally projecting their inner battles outward. So what can be done? I know you ask, what can be done? The good news is this: hopelessness is learned, meaning it can also be unlearned. The first step is awareness. And if we get to the place where you say, I don't want this again, nobody can get it out for you. So the first step is awareness. The next is choosing, little by little, to challenge the internal narrative. And this, like I said, begin having the kind of difficult conversations with your own soul and see the answers that it would give you. Challenge the internal narrative. Surround yourself with people who believe in growth. Seek therapy or coaching to build your mental framework. Celebrate small wins to restore a sense of control. Reconnect with purpose, something bigger than your pain. Because you see, brothers and sisters, self-acquired hopelessness is not weakness. It is a response to being wounded many times. And just like I said, I know, I understand. The wound is not your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. Oh yes, self-acquired hopelessness is not weakness. It is a response to being wounded many times, but you are not bound to it. Healing begins when you realize I may not be responsible for everything that happened to me, but I'm responsible for what I do next. So just like I said, the wound wasn't your fault, and the healing is your responsibility. But when you tell yourself, I may not be responsible for everything that happened to me, but I'm responsible for what I do next. And that first brave step forward can begin today and now. Own your life, my dear, and live. Until I come your way again in my next video, watch another video from my channel and subscribe to it if you want. Share it so somebody else will get to know of what I do. If you're watching, hit the like button so it would be recommended to another person. Much love and blessings.